welcome back to Eastwick Cottage Garden. Today is a very humid and warm. It's 83 degrees, but it feels like 85, but it feels like it's way warmer than that. Anyway, I have some other things I'd like to get done in the garden today, but it's probably not going to happen until a bit later. And I wanted to get an end of May garden tour in. We're supposed to be having some storms tomorrow, so I wanted to get the garden as it's looking now, because I don't know what the storm damage is going to cause. And my heart goes out to those who are in like Texas and Oklahoma. I hope you guys are safe, and I hope that anywhere else in the storm path that you guys are safe and your family is safe, and that you guys are doing well. I'm going to turn the camera around and we're going to get started on the tour. So we're going to start in here in the fenced-in garden, more immersive garden space. And here we can see that the lavender is growing leaps and bounds. It smells delightful, and I can't wait for it to actually start blooming. You can see all of the bloom stalks are here. So we're going to go around this way. And the sage, there's a weed in there, but the sage is doing well. The garlic chives are not doing so well this year. I think that they might be old, and I might have to dig up this clump and then maybe reestablish one of the newer clumps as the main clump. But we'll see how that goes further in the season. And the tarragon is doing well, and the oregano, there's a little bit of oregano here, but there's some over here as well. And the lemon balm, which is a little bit crispy. The sun has been very hot over the past couple of days. But coming back towards the beginning of the garden and on this side of the path, everything is blooming, doing well. You can see that we have a ton of flower buds on the Shasta daisies. The dianthus here is doing well. We have a lot of blooms on the Ansonia, which is doing really well. And you can see the carpet of Delosperma or ice plant. It's so beautiful and iridescent in the sunshine. I love it. We have bloom stalks here finally on the Mystic Penstemon. I'm very happy about that. So it's very nice to see this actually blooming after it's been in the ground for about 3 or 4 years. I don't know why this side, it just took forever to bloom out. And we have bloom stalks on the daylily here, and there will be a nice dark blue later in June and July. We have a lot of growth on this rose bush. It's done very well. We do have some flowers. You can zoom in here. There are some flowers happening down in there, and there are some more flowers up at the top here. So imagine it will bloom a whole lot more next year. We have our knockout roses, which are doing phenomenally well, looking beautiful on both sides here. There's still a ton of growth happening on this little lime hydrangea, doing exceptionally well. Coming back over here, we have our black-eyed Susans, both sides, a lot of growth here. The leaves, you can see that they're kind of suffering a little bit in the heat. I will put some water on them, but we're supposed to be getting a whole lot of rain. Pardon my shadow, but this is, you can see that there's some flower spikes on this echinacea, or coneflower. The balloon flowers are doing really, really well as well. And back here we have some blooms on the phlox, which you can see that there's blooms on this side as well, doing lovely. And the apricot fudge Asiatic lily, they have put up some flowers, and I'm really, really happy about that. So coming around again, we have our kaleidoscope abelia that's put on a ton of growth and is looking very full and lovely. And we planted up this planter in the previous video with the coleus and the annual salvia, and then the Biden's campfire marshmallow. And coming around this side, it's a little bit cooler over here because we're in the shadow, thankfully. Again, we have another one of the daylilies And you can see this Penstemon Mystica is doing really well. I think this is the one that shamed the other one into actually starting to flower this year. And we have some moths on the pincushion flower or scabiosa, which are doing really, really well. And again, this Shasta daisy over here, they all have a lot of buds on them. And over here in the previous video, we planted up our veggies. So we have our tomatoes, the sun sugar tomato and the white cherry tomato, and then we have the purple beauty bell pepper and the orange blaze bell pepper, and of course the Whopper beefsteak tomato over here. And the rose, my grandmother's rose, doing really well. I actually was able to cut a flower off, so really happy about that and waiting for some more blooms to happen. Coming around the front of the garden, we have more Amsonia and the scabiosa or pincushion flower. We have the drift of dianthus. So this is the key lime, and you can see why it's called that, because it has a beautiful yellow center. And these dianthus are hanging in there doing well. The lily foliage looks good. What else do we have? So this is the Paquito orange. This one's starting to bloom, and this one is doing really well. It's got some flower spikes on it as well. So on the front side of the garden, we have more of the same as we had before. We have the paprika heuchera and the Ascot rainbow euphorbia is continuing to put on growth. We have some blooms on the tequila sunrise columbine here and here. And our fire alarm heuchera that we planted is putting on its flower spikes. The tiger grass in the corner has put on a lot of growth. As you can see, these roses have faded away, so I will deadhead them and hopefully we can get some more blooms a little bit later in the season. So in the long border, we have some flower spikes on this iris. I kind of forget the color of it and the name of it, but I will get that. We have our Philadelphus or Mark orange, and the flowers are starting to fade on that. So I'm going to cut these back so that they can hopefully fill in a bit and be more uniform in size. And in this area, things are starting to fill in a bit. The Live and Easy rose, which I'm very happy we just planted this, and it also has some buds on it, buds forming on it. So I'm excited to see that beautiful orange popping through. The tick seed or coreopsis is starting to bloom. So we're picking up some more color in this bed. And my mom came through, you saw in the previous video, she came to help and she did some deadheading. So there's also some more blooms coming on the dianthus here. And we have some blooms on our cosmos that we planted as filler. And I had to cut, well, my mom cut them down, but it was time for the lupin to be trimmed back. So hopefully they might put up some smaller flower spikes this year, not sure, but looking forward to seeing what they do next year. And everything is growing really well. Also the irises back here have finished their bloom cycle for the year. And this is our lobelia, one of our lobelia plants, and it has, looks like it's starting to put up flowers. Let's see if I can get in here. Get this to focus. I don't know why it's not focusing. Yeah, it's starting to put up some flowers. So that will be exciting to see. Coming over here in a more shady area, such a relief from the heat. We have our ring of heuchera that are sailing along and doing really, really well. We have the Delta Dawn, which is the green, and the paprika. And you can see that now, since the weather is warming up, the red in the Delta Dawn is kind of fading out and it's turning more of a chartreuse green. So here in the maple border, my mom came in and trimmed back the geum because they were fading out, and hopefully they'll put up some new growth, and also trimmed back the phlox because that is done for the season. We won't get any new blooms on that one until next spring. And the flower spikes here, I showed you in the last video of these tiger lily that we transplanted, are going leaps and bounds. Still don't see any flower buds on this peony. So again, I'm going to see if it's, I don't know, we'll see what happens. It might be planted too deep, so I might have to lift it in the fall. But here we have our back and black sedum that is shooting up its flower spikes and looking really striking in this bed. We also have a lot of bloom spikes on the echinacea that are planted in this bed, which is very nice to see. So we traded out the color of the geum for picking up the color of the echinaceas that are going to be coming, and these tiger lily. And you can see these are really tall. We have a lot of bloom spikes on this hydrangea. So looking forward to seeing the colors that happen here. We've also added some color in the front by my mom planted up these pots with coleus. So they will be growing taller and filling in this space throughout the season. Coming into the orchard bed, you can see the flowers on the sky pencil holly here blooming out. The wasps seem to really like it. And again, I'm really impressed with these Arctic Fire dogwoods. I love the form, I love their shape, I love the leaf shape. They just are so beautiful to me. The Artemisia wormwood silver mound is doing well since we trimmed it back. And we have a lot of blooms here on the popcorn drift roses throughout the property. And you can see here we have more of the dianthus. And we have our Walker's Low catmint. I'm going to be planting a couple of more of these in this area. And we have this dianthus, which is double, that has put on a lot of bloom spikes and looking really good. There's one on the other side of the property as well. My mom came in and trimmed back the salvia, but you can see they're putting on new bloom spikes here. So that will have a whole nother flush, which will be lovely. And the Delosperma here, the yellow ice plant, is doing really well. She also trimmed back some of the other dianthus that we have here. This is the Firestar. And we have another drift rose and more of the key lime pie dianthus. And here we have our anemone. It's Prince Henry, and it is blooming, not blooming, it's flushing out a lot. So I'm expecting to see beautiful pink, dark pink flowers from that later in the summer into the fall. And we have here our Coronation Gold yarrow or achillea, and you can see how beautiful that yellow coloring is. And they're not even fully open yet. There's just such a gorgeous, gorgeous color. And we have, starting down here, this is the apricot, I get the name for it. It's one of the apricot echinacea that are starting to put on its flower spikes as well. Everything is looking so beautiful. More of the Artemisia. some more echinacea, and then back here we have some more of the columbine, which we have some more of that over here as well, intermingled with the coronation gold yarrow. And it's just such a striking, vivid coloring. I love it. More of the dianthus. And I got this cloche, I got several of them, but I bought these cloches, it came in like a set of 6. But I got it for the strawberries, but the strawberries are so ginormous that they don't fit in the cloches, so now this is now garden art, which I think it looks kind of cute here. And here we have more of the phenomenal lavender with its flower spikes, and it's going to be blooming really soon. I just love the sea of yellow. And over here in the orchard area, we have our strawberries. My mom and I have already had some of these. We've already had some of these that have ripened, but there's pushing out a ton of strawberries here. And this one is called, again, it's an everbearing. It's berries galore. This one is berries galore. And this one I could see there's a strawberry forming here. We'll probably pick that one for tomorrow. And this one is called the Seascape strawberry, and this is also an everbearing one. They're doing really, really well. Here on our plum tree that has tons of great foliage on it, we are down to 1 plum. I don't know what happened to the other plum, but we are down to 1 plum. Let's see if I could slide in here. You can see it right there, right here. So we'll see if we get it, if it survives, and we can actually have it to eat. The fall gold raspberries are doing really, really well. No flowers yet, but the foliage looks amazing. And our wild black raspberry bush doing well. All the flowers are gone, but you can see that we have the raspberries forming up. So we're looking forward to getting some raspberries this year. And this is a primocane that's going to be for next year's raspberries. I want to come later in the summer and trim it back so that it's not so tall, just kind of keep it size controlled. But very happy to have this here. And our rose called the Pilgrim, I showed you in the previous video, is doing well. It's putting on, let's see if I can get out of the shadow, putting on some yellow blooms here already and growing quite a bit. So looking forward to being able to tie this into the fence and just have it kind of grow over the fence. So in our video, the previous video, we put in the rock border around this back orchard bed, and everything is doing well. We have some blooms on the cosmos, which look really, really great. And of course, this honeysuckle is looking splendid and perfuming the air so nicely, especially in the early morning and late evening. So my phone overheated. I'm going to stand in the shade here and kind of pan around from this spot to keep the phone a little bit cooler for the rest of the tour. I also wanted to point out, I want to thank my niece and nephew for their 300th and 301 signing up as a subscriber. I had a goal that I was going to get a mic when I got 300 subscribers, so as you can see, I am now mic'd up. So hopefully when the wind is blowing a gale force, this audio will be of better quality. So from here, I'm going to zoom in. This is the peach tree. A lot of the peaches have fallen off of it. I think it was pretty much in shock since I cut the limb off and just dealing with that and the peach tree curl. So we do have some peaches that we'll potentially get, but I'm hoping for better things next year with it. I'm going to give it a year of rest, and then we'll see what we get next year. So here, standing here in the breeze, in the shade, it feels much better, and it'll do much better for the phone. We have our woodland garden area, which is doing very, very well. The ferns are all coming out and doing their thing and looking beautiful, and the hostas are looking amazing. So I'm very, very happy with how this area is coming out. I think I want to get some more heuchera that are of a redder hue to put in this area to add some more color. There's a lot of green and some yellows in here, but I think I want to add some more reds. I do have it from the Autumn Brilliance Fern and let me see if I can get the name right. It is the Carnival Coffee Bean heuchera here, but I want some more red in this area. So the heuchera that we planted, the heuchera electra that we planted a couple of videos ago, is doing really, really well. You can see that the red foliage is there. The red veining is there, as it should be. So it looks much more happy than it was in the back of the orchard bed. And this is the ghost fern, the ghost painted fern that we planted, and that is doing well as well. As well are the Julie ferns. And they look lovely. Everything, it's really refreshing back here. It's really nice and cool. So I'm going to work out some seeding back here because it's very, very nice. And towards the back of the garden, the bed at the back of the fenced-in garden area, we have our wintergreen that is putting on a lot of foliage. So I'm very, very happy about that. This is my first experience with wintergreen. Has anybody else grown wintergreen before? But it seems to be doing well and taking to its environment. And this one has even put out some of the flower starts. So I'm really interested to see what that's going to be like. And we have, again, more of the tiger lilies. And under there are the big blue liriope that we moved from the orchard bed over to this space so that they could fill in. And we have another wintergreen down there. I was kind of worried about it being hidden, but it seems to be doing well. This one actually has some flower starts on it as well. So it seems to be happy in this space. And then coming around to the front of this garden bed area, we have the wild rose heuchera that is doing well. So I'm thinking about putting something a similar color like this, or maybe closer to the paprika back in the orchard bed area. What do you guys think about that, to add some of the red element? And my mom came in and we trimmed back the dianthus that was here, the Bath's pink. We'll see if we can get some more flower spikes on this, so I can get this to regenerate. This is the only dianthus that I haven't been able to have come back after the first bloom, flush of blooms. But it still has a couple of blooms on it, and we'll see if we can get some more. And the candy tuft is done. I came in and trimmed that back. We have salvia here, not salvia. We have, what is that? Sedum. We have sedum here, and that's doing well. And so the sedum here is doing well also. And we have more of that double dianthus that is looking amazing. Last year it had 5 flowers on it, and now there's so many, I can't even count, and there's more to come. And our variegated liriope is doing really, really well, both here and here. I'm going to quickly do these beds because the sun is out and I don't want the camera to die again. So here we have our Peter Cottontail yarrow that is looking beautiful. We have the Azure Rush hardy geranium, and this is the Constant Beauty pink dianthus, and another popcorn drift rose. We have this sedum that is putting out its flower spikes. They're so cute. Can you see these cute little flowers? They're adorable. I didn't know it was going to do that. And then we could have here the Tiny Wine 9 bark, which has put on about 5 inches since it bloomed. So I'm really interested to see how tall this is going to get this year. And here are the lantana that we planted together. There's the sneezeweed out here, and then I have the gardenia back here. And here's an echinacea. We have the cat's pajamas nepeta. And here we have the Super Bean of Pink Cashmere that's gone through 1 flowering cycle, but is filling in the middle and starting to look like it might do the spilling over, which is great. And here in the flower pots, my mom planted more of the annual salvia. So that will have purple flowers on it. So hopefully if it comes back, we'll have some purple flowers. It'll be very exciting. And again, as always, this bed is kind of the twin of the other bed here. And I forgot to mention we have our gold nugget sempervivum. Here's an update on the flower pot that we got for the free annuals from Bloombox. Everything is coming in very nicely. We have the lobelia over here, the verbena here, and this is the sweet alyssum and the petunia. Okay, so I've moved back into the shade because it's so much cooler. I hope that you enjoyed this end of May garden tour, and I hope that you are having a lot of success in your own gardens. And I'd love to know what kind of flowers are blooming out for you at this point in time. Are there any surprises or anything that you want to get more of in your garden? I want to thank you all for all of your support and your likes and your shares and your subscriptions and the comments. And I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are going to be safe. And I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.